and has also been doing a lot of different interviews and talking about some of these controversial subjects. But in today's video, I do want to talk about the article that was released by CNN. It's entitled "The Behind the Scenes Story of a WNBA Controversy, Caitlin Clark, DiJonai Carrington, and a Journalist's Questions." And this is the excerpt in the book where we talk about the controversy surrounding the eye poke saga, where DiJonai Carrington poked Caitlin Clark in the eye. The entire internet was up in an uproar.
The WNBA world is about to explode. Christine Brennan's book drops tomorrow, and DJ Carrington is already screaming defamation before anyone's even read the thing. Meanwhile, leaked excerpts show some pretty wild behind-the-scenes drama that makes last season's eye poke controversy look like child's play. Trust me, what's coming is going to change everything we thought we knew about this league. Do you think DJ Carrington's defamation threats are just damage control? Or does she actually have a case here?
Now with ABC News contributor Christine Brennan, whose new book, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, looks at how the Indiana Fever star has really been a catalyst for the explosion in popularity of the WNBA and really all women's sports.
So here we are again. Folks, another day, another WNBA drama explosion. And honestly, at this point, I'm starting to think the league should just rebrand itself as a reality TV show because the basketball is becoming secondary to all this mess.
The Christine Brennan book is coming out tomorrow, and I'm just gonna say it. It's gonna change the WNBA as we know it. The Christine Brennan book.
Christine Brennan's book about Caitlin Clark comes out tomorrow, and before anyone's even cracked it open, we've got players threatening lawsuits left and right. DJ Carrington is out here talking about defamation like she's suddenly become a legal expert overnight. The audacity is actually impressive. But let's back up and talk about what's really happening here. This whole situation started with that eye poke incident last season that had the entire internet losing their minds. You know, the one where DJ poked Caitlin in the eye during a game, and then somehow Christine Brennan became the villain for asking basic journalism questions about it.
DiJonai, did you, when you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
The questions weren't even that harsh. Brennan literally asked DJ if she intended to hit Caitlin in the eye. That's it. That's journalism 101. You ask the obvious question that everyone's thinking, but apparently in the WNBA, asking straightforward questions makes you public enemy number one.
Later on in the game, they caught you guys laughing about it?
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her, so I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened.
And the response? The WNBA Players Association came out with a statement that was basically a full-scale attack on Christine Brennan. They put out this whole thing called A Message on Behalf of the One Forever Before, and it was absolutely wild. They said the week was supposed to be about celebrating A'ja Wilson, Caitlin, DJ, and Napheesa Collier for their performances all season long.
In time had not been announced yet. So we talked about A'ja Wilson was MVP, Napheesa was Defensive Player of the Year, DiJonai was the Most Improved Player, and Caitlin was Rookie of the Year. Hers had not been announced yet, and they essentially leaked it, and everybody knew that she was going to win Rookie of the Year from this statement. So that was mishap number one.
But here's the thing. They basically leaked that Caitlin was going to win Rookie of the Year before it was even announced. Like, way to spoil your own award show, guys. Real professional move there.
From this statement. So that was mishap number one from this note, but we continue. We were not going to distract from their successes, nor would we dim the glow of the spotlight that centered on them. They have earned that focus and celebration, but we will take this moment now to stand up for them and the rest of our members, every single one of them, because we call BS. To the unprofessional members of the media like Christine Brennan, you are not fooling anyone. That so-called interview in the name of journalism was a blatant attempt to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false and designed to fuel racist, homophobic, and misogynistic vitriol on social media. You cannot hide behind your tenure. They go on with another thing about how she abused her privileges of being a reporter and the credentials that she had, and then they ended it.
But then they really went after Christine Brennan. They literally said, "We call BS" in an official statement. Like, who approved that language? Are we running a professional sports league or a high school drama club? They said, to the unprofessional members of the media like Christine Brennan, "You are not fooling anyone." They accused her of trying to bait DJ into participating in a false narrative designed to fuel racist, homophobic, and misogynistic hate on social media. They told her she couldn't hide behind her tenure and basically said she was abusing her media credentials. The whole thing ended with, "We see you," like some kind of threat.
I think they took away from the message that they were trying to share, that they were upset with Christine Brennan. They also released this very quickly after that interview. That was everything that was going on online.
The entire statement read like a clapback from teenagers, not a professional organization representing elite athletes. It was embarrassing, honestly. Instead of addressing whatever concerns they had like adults, they went full drama mode. But here's where it gets really interesting. The book reveals what happened behind the scenes after that interview, and it's way messier than anyone realized. Apparently, DJ's teammate DeWanna Bonner came up to Brennan right after the interview and started confronting her about disrespecting and attacking her teammate. Now, Bonner didn't yell or get crazy, but she made it clear she wasn't happy. She wouldn't even shake Brennan's hand when she tried to introduce herself. 3 times, Brennan tried to explain what actually happened, and 3 times Bonner just kept saying, "You disrespected my teammate," like a broken record. And here's the kicker. A WNBA official called Brennan later that same day to basically say her questions were totally fine.
Christine Brennan said that 5 hours later, a WNBA official called me in my hotel room. The official had been informed by the Connecticut Sun PR staff about my questions to Carrington and Bonner's response. The league official told me that the Sun PR people had told Carrington that she should not have gone to a teammate to confront a credentialed reporter, but rather should have gone to the PR people who could have handled the situation. Then the WNBA official, she says this. She says, "I have a simple test about whether questions are appropriate or not. They should not be vulgar, they should not be rude, or they should not be inappropriate. Your questions were not vulgar, rude, or inappropriate. Your questions were fine. Unfortunately, most of our players have zero idea what real media exposure is. They don't know what real coverage is. They have been shielded at college, and then they come to the WNBA not knowing what real questions are. Frankly, our players just don't get it." The official requested that their name not be used due to the sensitive nature of the issue. This part really stood out to me because there is clearly a disconnect between WNBA officials, like higher ups in the WNBA, and the WNBA players. The WNBA official is telling this to Christine Brennan, basically saying, "We got your back. Those questions were fine. The players just don't know how to handle the media." And then on the flip side, you have the WNBA PA. They are coming out with a statement that is basically saying, "You asked the worst questions. These questions were fueling racism and misogyny and homophobia. Like, you couldn't have asked a worse question." There is clearly a disconnect, and that disconnect is never going to be good within a business. Whichever side you think is right or whichever side you think is wrong, there should not be this much of a disconnect. If WNBA officials feel this way about their players, then they need to do a better job at helping their players to understand this. If they see something that the WNBA PA puts out, the note that they put out that was so condemning of Christine Brennan, they need to be talking to them and be like, "Hey ladies, this question to me, how we judge questions, it didn't seem vulgar, it didn't seem rude, it didn't seem inappropriate. I feel like, help us understand why you guys are feeling this way." It seems like so many things across the WNBA is like a clapback mentality instead of a solution-based mentality. And I feel like it goes across the board. The WNBA's PA statement, I don't think was a solution-based statement. It was a clapback statement. It was like, "We're going to show you. This is how we feel. We need to get this out. We need to get this out quick. Let's put a little attitude in it. This is our clapback at you because we're mad at you." But they didn't think of the solution to the problem that they have with Christine Brennan. And then on the flip side, this WNBA official who was saying this to Christine Brennan, like the mixed messages, no business is going to function properly if that's the way that everything is functioning. Like, you're always going to have this dysfunctional relationship between reporters, the higher ups, and the players.
This official straight up told her that the players don't get it and have zero idea what real media exposure is. They said the players have been shielded in college and come to the WNBA not knowing how to handle actual journalism. The official literally said, "Your questions were not vulgar, rude, or inappropriate. Your questions were fine. Unfortunately, most of our players have zero idea what real media exposure is. They don't know what real coverage is. They have been shielded at college, and then they come to the WNBA not knowing what real questions are. Frankly, our players just don't get it." Think about that for a second. The league itself is admitting their players can't handle basic questions, while the players' union is out here acting like Brennan committed some war crime. The disconnect is absolutely wild.
It came out against Christine Brennan because she was questioning DiJonai about the eye poke situation. It became this whole thing. And why are stories like this being brought up in the present time? I think it's still being brought up because unfortunately some of the things that happened last season, some of the messaging that happened last season, some of just the drama that surrounded the WNBA last season hasn't gone away this season. And unfortunately, it's not only hurting just a couple of players, it's hurting the entirety of the league.
But wait, it gets better. The book also reveals another incident that happened before a playoff game. DJ apparently overheard reporters talking about a lineup change involving her girlfriend, Melissa Smith, and she completely lost it. She came storming through some curtains accusing them of talking crap about Melissa. The reporters were literally just discussing basketball strategy that they'd been asked not to report on yet. Nothing personal, nothing negative, just regular sports journalism stuff. But DJ heard what she wanted to hear and went full attack mode. She specifically looked at Christine Brennan and said, "I walked past and I heard you talking crap about Melissa. It was you out of your mouth." Like, imagine being so paranoid that you think every conversation is about your girlfriend. And then, and this is the part that really gets me, she left a voicemail for Melissa before the game, telling her that reporters were talking badly about her, before a win or go home playoff game. Like, imagine being a player and getting that kind of message right before the biggest game of your season. Melissa then came up to Brennan asking, "What did you say to me?" When Brennan tried to explain, Melissa just called her a liar and walked away. The whole thing was described as a bad game of telephone by a WNBA communications director who witnessed it. This is the level of professionalism we're dealing with here. Players creating drama out of thin air, stirring up their teammates before crucial games, and then acting like they're the victims when journalists do their jobs. The whole Melissa situation really shows how toxic this environment has become. Here's a player who's already dealing with the pressure of a playoff game, and then she gets a voicemail from her girlfriend telling her that reporters are supposedly trashing her. That's the kind of thing that can completely mess with someone's head right before they need to perform. And for what? Because DJ couldn't handle overhearing a normal basketball conversation. She turned routine sports journalism into some personal attack on her relationship. The level of paranoia and victim mentality is off the charts. What makes it even worse is that Melissa was already under scrutiny about her role with the team. She was being moved out of the starting lineup, which is always tough for any player to deal with. The last thing she needed was manufactured drama about reporters supposedly talking trash about her. But DJ couldn't help herself. She had to make everything about her and her feelings. Never mind that she was potentially sabotaging her girlfriend's mental state before a crucial game. Never mind that she was creating problems where none existed. She just had to be the center of attention. And now, with the book coming out, DJ is talking about defamation. The irony is incredible. She's upset about being accurately quoted and having her actions described, but she thinks that's somehow illegal. Someone needs to explain to her that defamation requires false statements, not just unflattering true ones. The timing of all this is particularly frustrating because the WNBA is at such a crucial point. The league is more popular than ever, largely thanks to Caitlin Clark, and they're heading into CBA negotiations at the end of this season. This should be the time when everyone's focused on building the league up, not tearing it down with petty drama. Instead, we're getting the same patterns that made last season such a mess. Players can't handle media scrutiny, the league office doesn't back up their own officials, and everyone's more interested in playing victim than actually improving. The book apparently has way more than just these incidents too. There are reports about other players and coaches, including some stuff about Commissioner Kathy Engelbert that sounds pretty damning. Cheryl Reeve has already been deleting tweets that were quoted in the book, which is honestly hilarious. Nothing says I didn't say that, like frantically deleting evidence that you did. What's particularly ridiculous is how all of this could have been avoided if people just acted like adults. DJ could have talked to the PR staff about her concerns with the questions. The players' union could have had a private conversation with Brennan instead of putting out that embarrassing public statement. The league could have supported their own officials instead of letting players run wild. But no, everyone chose the most dramatic possible response to everything. And now, we're here, with players threatening lawsuits over accurate reporting while the league's reputation continues to take hits, right when it should be thriving. The most frustrating part is that this affects everyone, not just the players involved. When DJ creates drama before playoff games, it hurts her team's chances. When the players' union puts out statements with language like "we call BS," it makes the whole league look unprofessional. When players can't handle basic questions, it makes media coverage more difficult for everyone. And let's be real about something else. DJ's threats about defamation are probably just bluster. Christine Brennan has been doing this for decades. She's not going to publish something that isn't true, especially not in a book where she names specific sources and witnesses. She knows exactly what she can and can't say legally. The fact that DJ is making these threats before even reading the book tells you everything you need to know about her approach to this situation. She's more interested in trying to intimidate Brennan than actually addressing whatever concerns she might have. This is exactly the kind of behavior that holds the league back. Instead of focusing on basketball and building something positive, we get endless drama and controversy. Players spend more time on social media complaining about coverage than they do working on their games. And the worst part is that it's also unnecessary. Caitlin Clark has shown how to handle media attention the right way. She answers questions directly, she doesn't create drama, and she focuses on basketball. That's how you build a professional league. But apparently, that's too much to ask from some players. They want all the benefits of increased attention and media coverage, but they don't want to deal with any of the responsibilities that come with it. They want to be treated like stars without acting like professionals. The WNBA Players Association statement really showed their true colors here. Instead of trying to have a productive conversation about media relations, they went nuclear on Christine Brennan. They made it personal, they made it public, and they made it nasty with their "we call BS" and "we see you" language. That's not how professional organizations handle disagreements. The whole thing about Brennan trying to fuel racist and misogynistic hate was particularly rich. Like asking a player if they intended to commit a foul is somehow designed to create online hate? Give me a break. That's just trying to shut down legitimate questions by making them about something they're not. And the players' union telling Brennan she couldn't hide behind her tenure was especially laughable. Since when is experience and credibility something to hide behind? That's literally what qualifies someone to do their job. But apparently in the WNBA, having a track record of good journalism makes you the enemy. What really gets me is how this whole situation could have been a learning moment for everyone involved. Instead of attacking Brennan, the players' union could have used this as an opportunity to have a real conversation about media relations and how to handle tough questions. They could have worked with the league to provide better media training for players, but no, they chose the nuclear option. They decided to make Brennan public enemy number one and act like she was some kind of villain for doing her job, and now look where we are. Players threatening lawsuits and the league looking completely dysfunctional. The book coming out tomorrow is going to be a reckoning for the WNBA. All these players who thought they could control the narrative are about to find out that journalism doesn't work that way. You can't intimidate reporters into not doing their jobs, and you can't threaten your way out of accountability. DiJonai Carrington is about to learn that lesson the hard way. She can scream about defamation all she wants, but the truth is the truth. And if she really thinks she has a case, she better have a really good lawyer, because going up against an experienced journalist like Brennan is not going to end well for her. The whole situation is just another example of how the WNBA continues to be its own worst enemy. They have this incredible opportunity with increased popularity and attention, and they keep finding ways to mess it up with unnecessary drama and unprofessional behavior. What's really telling is how the league official admitted that players don't know how to handle real media coverage. That's a damning indictment of how the WNBA has been operating. If your players can't handle basic questions, that's a you problem, not a media problem. But instead of addressing that issue, the players' union decided to attack the messenger. They made Christine Brennan the villain for doing her job, while completely ignoring the fact that their players might actually need media training. The disconnect between what the league officials were saying privately and what the players' union was saying publicly shows just how dysfunctional this whole organization is. How can you run a professional sports league when different parts of the organization are completely at odds with each other? Tomorrow's book release is going to be interesting, that's for sure. And something tells me DJ's threats are just the beginning of the chaos that's about to unfold. The WNBA had a chance to learn from last season's mistakes, but instead they just doubled down on the same behavior that got them into trouble in the first place. The WNBA is about to have its biggest drama explosion yet, and DJ Carrington's defamation threats are just the appetizer. Christine Brennan's book drops tomorrow, and it's going to expose everything that's been happening behind the scenes. This league never learns from its mistakes, and now everyone's about to pay the price for all that dysfunction. If you want to stay updated on all the chaos that's about to unfold, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. The WNBA will never be the same after tomorrow, and we'll be here to break down every single messy detail as it happens.